So I'm always laughing because the things that I say, I my experiences, right? So again, remember this is an amateur video, so don't worry about my background and all. But I want to talk about a subject that I deal with like almost like on a daily basis, and I'm not going to go into trying to define what it is, blah blah blah. So it's about forgiveness, and there are just a few perspectives I have about forgiveness that I want to talk about here. So the question is really what I ask myself when somebody hurts me is, why should I forgive the person, whether the person asks for forgiveness or not? And the reason I believe that forgiveness is possible and why it has to happen is because I will need forgiveness one day. Yeah, this we're not in a perfect world, so I'm going to need to be forgiven. So that's it's like a seed. So you forgive, and then because of my mental health too, I'm a very I'm typically an emotional person. So I always need clarity in my head. I don't like giving people room for free in my brain. So I always like to declutter things in my mind. So I talk. Even what I'm doing now is part of how I declutter my mind. So I don't like to have debris in my mind. I think I learned that from my dad. And then when I forgive, this I'm talking about my personal experience now. It helps me to think clearly. It helps me to think unemotionally. And then if I have to demand for justice, it gives me the clarity and authorizes me to do so. A few other things about forgiveness is that forgiveness is a process. You've got to give yourself time to forgive. And even if you hurt somebody and ask for forgiveness, you also have to give that person time to forgive you. Now, there are a few things that people think about forgiveness, which is not my personal perspective. People think that, oh, if I've forgiven somebody, I will reconcile with the person, I will restore the fellowship, I will reconnect with the person. No, but my behavior must demonstrate that that forgiveness has been given. I don't have to reconnect or renew the friendship that was there before. Why? Because if the reason the person hurts me is something that has to do with the person's character, because I already know that there's a limit to how I can engineer change in somebody's life, I will not continue to expose myself to be hurt in the name of, oh, it's easy for me to forgive, or it's easy for you to forgive. So I put the boundary there. But the proof that you have actually forgiven is when that scar, like a physical scar, there's also an emotional scar. When that scar is touched at certain times, your response and my response is what determines the level of healing and forgiveness that has happened. That's why I always tell people, when it comes to issues of forgiveness and matters of the heart, don't be kind to yourself. And how you also know, apart from if the scar is touched, how you respond, or I respond to it, is also when you don't silently seek revenge, or if you hear that something has happened to somebody who has hurt you, and probably somebody who is not even asking for forgiveness, somebody who doesn't even doesn't even care about how you feel about what the person has done. When you silently stop feeling, it's good for him, it's good for her. So bottom line is, forgiveness is a must, because we are human and we all err. I hope you take something away. Let me know what you think. Thanks.